Hello fans of Pokemon, lovers of art, and people who like commenting before watching the whole video. We are back, and we have for you guys what else but some new Pokemon designs for the Maza region. If you're just joining us now, feel free to scroll through our previous videos in this series to get a basic gist of what it is that we're doing here. But for the rest of you who have been waiting patiently since the last installment, welcome! Today we're going to be adding a new type to our Maza Pokedex, Ghost. Ghost types are exceptionally exciting to design, not just because it's a lot of fun to hide morbid themes underneath kid-friendly designs, but because oftentimes ghost Pokemon are based around very specific myths and legends from different cultures. For our Mexico-inspired region, there were a few options that would make for a compelling ghost-type design. Death and the afterlife is a huge part of traditional Mexican culture, and unlike with us materialistic Americans, it's not always considered to be a scary or sad subject. While eventually I do want to create a Day of the Dead themed Pokemon, this video will not be about such a design. Instead, we're going to be indulging in the proposition that many of you have suggested in prior videos, turning the legend of La Llorona into a new Pokemon evolutionary line. For those of you unfamiliar with the myth, like myself a few days ago, La Llorona is rumored to be the ghost of a woman who died after drowning herself along with her children. The long story involves a husband who paid more attention to her kids than to her, and I believe in most versions of the tale she decides to kill herself after catching him cheating. So, perfect material for a children's video game. But of course, inappropriately morbid points of origin are more common than you'd think in Pokemon designs, and as long as the Pokemon itself is subtle in referencing its grim inspiration, it'll be enjoyable for young audiences, ignorant of its true meaning, and even more fun when they grow up and see it in a Watch Mojo Top 10 Pokemon that will ruin your childhood video. This was a rare occasion where I actually spent the most amount of time making the first stage Pokemon out of the two other stages. Nailing the design of the first stage in an evolutionary line is crucial because it sets the tone for the rest of the Pokemon. The themes, the design conventions, and in this case, adapting a story about a mother killing her children and then herself in a way that won't traumatize kids. Sketching out rough concepts, I wanted this Pokemon to feel very floaty. Not just like any other ghost, but like a ghost that had died by drowning, and spends the rest of eternity swimming in non-existent water. This line would also follow the conventions of other 3-stage humanoid Pokemon like Gardevoir or Gothitelle, wherein the first stage would be very simple and doll-like, and the final evolution would look something like an abstract representation of a human woman. I settled with something that looked like a little girl with long, wet hair, and a jeweled collar that looked like a large teardrop. Tears would be my way of allowing these Pokemon to be water types without having to mention the fact that the real reason is their connection to drowning. It works either way though, as another name for La Llorona is the Wailing Woman. This nickname inspired the species name for the first stage. Lilorina, the Weeping Pokemon. Despite being a water type itself, Lilorina seems to have a mortal fear of water, and will avoid going anywhere near even the smallest puddle. They are, by nature, generally skittish, and in addition to fearing water, they also avoid adult humans at all costs. Instead, they are often seen hovering near small children, apparently looking for someone to play with. The second stage took me significantly less time to design, as I used one of my original concepts for the first form as a sort of jumping off point, and I liked the way it looked after just one take. With this one, I wanted to push the underwater theme a little bit further, and have the hair floating around the Pokemon as if it was submerged entirely in water. The second stage would also look slightly more humanoid, with arms, legs, and a distinguished head, neck, and body. I liked the markings on the first stage that mimicked a streak of tears on the Pokemon's face, so I kept it in the second evolution. However, I did expose one eye in this second stage. In my sketches, it kind of looked like something from The Binding of Isaac, but I think I got away from that in the final design. I did not, however, get away from having the color of the hair resemble that of Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. It was unintentional, but now I can't unsee it, and I reckon you won't either. Much to the dismay of their parents, Children in the Maza region love to seek out and play with Yakina. The Pokemon, while cold and aggressive towards adults, enjoy playing with young ones and work well with adolescent trainers. They use their shrill voice to attack in battle, wailing at the top of their lungs and flooding the field with tears. Now, whereas the first two stages would be a mix of cute and creepy, I wanted the final evolution to lean heavily towards the sinister spirit end of the spectrum. And I decided to do something that Pokemon has surprisingly avoided in every single Pokemon design to this date: make an actual skeleton. Sure, we've had skulls and a handful of femurs, but no Pokemon is explicitly an animated skeleton. This might be a standards and legal kind of deal. There might be some cultural taboos that would make selling a children's game with skeletons more difficult, probably in the US, because American parents are scared of everything. But I'm not trying to sell a real game, so I can make whatever I want. Of course, I wasn't going to make Yorinaqa just a skeleton, but its arms and head I wanted to look as close to bones as acceptable by Pokemon standards. After all, it is a Pokemon, not a deceased human. I don't think that's how it works, but I guess it depends on the Pokemon. Its hair was going to be a big part of its design, but I didn't want it to be a primary focus, as Hatterene and Grimmsnarl kind of already have that whole hair monster concept locked down. And of course, like with all Pokemon, I wanted to make sure that it still looked like it could be your friend. Maybe not objectively, but for you edgy goth kids out there, Yorinaqa is for you. Yorinaqa, the whaling Pokemon. Mothers in the Maza region like to frighten their children with stories of Yorinaqa, a Pokemon that quite enjoys terrorizing the young and the innocent. They dwell mostly in large bodies of water, emerging only at night. As they roam the land, they emit a consistent, spine-chilling sob that echoes for miles. The cries are eerily human, and travelers are caught completely off guard when they find what they had assumed to be a crying woman was in fact a very malicious Pokemon. And that wraps up this installment of our Gen 9 Pokemon series. Let me know what you thought I did right and what you yourself might change about them down in the comments. I think in the next video I'll be coming up with some water types, maybe the fish Pokemon that is a consistent design convention for every Pokemon game. Let me know if you have any ideas for that. But I think our schedule is going to deviate away from the Pokemon stuff for a little bit. We have some other plans in the works that you guys will enjoy. But until then, peace. I'll see you in the next video.